All right, thanks, Hold Steady, for coming and hanging out at the Threadless headquarters. How's the tour going?
It's going great. It's been a lot of fun, and it keeps getting better each night, I think.
Here we go. You guys played Bloomington last night. Here's a question. Thinking the Hold Steady was headlining, I walked into last night's show in the middle of One for the Cutters. I really wanted to hear them intro that song to verify that, as I suspect, the song is in fact about Bloomington. Can you confirm or deny this?
I guess it'd be hard for me to confirm or deny that. The title is a reference to the Cutters, from the movie Breaking Away, which took place in Bloomington, Indiana. And it concerns itself with the notion of townies, and especially in a college town. But I think the college town I was thinking of is sort of a nameless, faceless, generic college town. It might be the same size or kind of feel of Bloomington, but I haven't spent enough time in Bloomington to really base anything there.
I see. So it's like a little bit from every college town.
Sure, exactly. It's sort of that idea of the townies in a college town.
Here we go. Ask Craig if he remembers when I let him use my cell phone at a Lifter Puller concert in Minneapolis.
His name,
of course I do.
I don't remember that.
Right.
I'm speaking from the heart here.
You know what? I gotta fess up. I actually sent in that question.
Here's the question: how did your relationship with Bruce Springsteen progress?
We sang with him. Yeah, I sang with him. I sang with him one time. And then a few months later, I met him, and I've attended a number of his concerts. So mainly, it's progressed from being a fan who hadn't met him to a fan that met him one time.
That's it. Do you have his cell number?
No.
Just wondering, because we would call him right now. All right, here's a serious question. How has the recent economic messiness affected touring?
I think that I've heard from friend promoters on this tour that a lot of their shows are 10 or 20% down. So it's gonna it does have some effect. I think on our tour we happen to be fortunate to have kind of done this double headliner at the right time and made an effort to keep ticket prices reasonable. So I think we really had a good idea thinking forward. This fell at a good time for us because it is a really good bargain as a show, and but the other thing I think that affects all bands is gasoline,
of course,
and that affected us a lot this summer, obviously.
It's down considerably since we went out. I mean, so in that sense it's been better this fall than it has been over the last year.
Yeah.
And the dollar is stronger, so when we go back to England, it's not going to be as painful to go out. Touring abroad is going to be a little bit better. Yeah, I think that hopefully over the course of the next 6 months, I don't think anything's going to radically change, but we've already noticed some differences. Even something as simple as crossing the border into Canada. I think now that we know Bush will be out of the White House, before I think you can't discount the fact that's had on traveling abroad and dealing with people who view America a particular way, and this time crossing into Canada, as anybody in a band knows, in the last few years was a horrendous hassle, and this time they were really cordial and downright neighborly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. And I think that we talked about it. I think that definitely has an effect on touring.
There was a band Koufax that used to be on Vagrant. Actually, they have a song called "Color Me Canadian," and it talks about when they tour abroad, sometimes they say that they're actually from Canada.
Right.
So that. If you could place your music in any movie or TV show, silent film, etc., past or present, what would it be and why?
I would say probably it'd have to be any John Hughes film, because any of those, or anything teaming up with Kenny Loggins. Because if you look at the soundtrack work that he's done with Top Gun, Vacation, Caddyshack, Footloose, he seems to, I don't know who he knew or whose cousin he was, but he made a lot of money in the 80s. But the John Hughes movies seem to be the most timeless, and he also had really good taste in music for the time, using like the Cure and the Smiths. He teamed up with Danny Elfman a lot, so I'm gonna have to say John Hughes.
All right, I got one last question, and it's kind of the usual one, but the question is, did any local Minneapolis music influence you in the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it had to, because it was the first things I I saw that you could really get up close to. The Replacements, Soul Sound, Husker Du. The Usual Suspects were, luckily, the bands that were around when I was in high school, so it had a huge impact on me. And I think it's even not just the ability to see those bands, but even, I mean, especially I think the Replacements and Soul Sound had this sort of like indie or punk edge, but really were rooted in a classic rock sound, which I think is, you could also say about the Hold Steady.
And that's it.
All right.
Thanks a lot for coming, guys.
That was easy. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you.